Welcome back to the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship here on BSRTV, round 17 from Road America. Once again, Chris Cohen calling the shots with Adam Barth. Adam, can that get even more fascinating for this race?
I think it can, Chris. I think this race is going to be just as chaotic, if not more.
Well, I didn't have the words to describe the last one. It was that exciting. I think I need to calm down a little bit in the 10 minutes leading up to the grid. This next race, a lot to talk about from that round 16, and we should start really with Katz and Rushworth and Lopez.
Yes, if you didn't see it on YouTube, if you're watching this in the future, there was a bit of contact, to say the least, between Lopez, Rushworth and Katz. Lopez and Rushworth went off, and that allowed Stefan Hug to come through and take the win. However, Lopez is now starting on pole for the race 2.
And that's going to shake things up a little bit, because Lopez only finishing 10th in the last round. Rushworth went off as well, but he came back on, didn't he? He came back on a lot quicker than Lopez, and that has made all the difference.
Yeah, he managed to get a 6th place in race 1, which gives him 5th place in race 2. Let's see if he can work up through the field and get back right to Lopez again.
Well, there's the standings, the top 10, and that's now live, so that's after the first race. So as you can see, Lopez's gap is now 42 points. It was 50, it's now down to 42. Hug finishing very well, he's closed up again. Savidovic has closed up. Katz has closed up. And David Bacon now leapfrogs Stelian Chapelevsky into 6th position. So, a would-be champion, he just missed out by a couple of points. Stelian Chapelevsky is being beaten by David Baker, who hasn't done anything particularly exciting, no offence David, but he hasn't done anything particularly exciting this season other than finish consistently, and it just goes to show how much value there is in doing that.
Yeah, Chapelevsky was doing quite well in race 1 and then had a 1 crash on the final lap, and look what it's cost him now. David Baker doing a great job in the Chrome Restart car and is now up in 6th place in the standings.
Well, I think Chapelevsky will probably feel hard done by Wojtek Savidovic, who, well, it's a difficult one to call. The two of them were side by side. Savidovic had the inside line, the outside line, sorry. Chapelevsky, well, one of them turned into the other one, or they both turned into each other. Like I said, very, very difficult to call. That one is on the previous YouTube video, if you care to go back and watch that. And this is a guy on your screen right now who will want to do better this time round. Early retirement for Smolensky, which wasn't good for his standings.
Yeah, he had a bit of contact at the start and had to pit at the end of the first lap, so hopefully he'll be trying to work his way back up through the field in this race and maybe get a top 20 reverse grid spot.
About 5 minutes till we get onto the grid. Now this is race 2 of the evening. Race 3 will follow after this one. We've got another 8 laps from Road America. It's over 2 minutes a lap round here, so 8 laps doesn't sound like a lot, but it is about 20 minutes of racing, which is just enough time to allow these cars to establish themselves on the track, hopefully not take each other out again, but not enough time for the action to get boring, which is something that's never really described one of these races, I don't think, Adam.
No, last race did fly by, and all of a sudden we ended up with 2 laps to go, that carnage happening. So anything can happen in British sim racing touring cars.
Well, Chris Siddle has got himself an AMD drive this time round, just looking at him coming out of the pits in the warm-up. He's got about 4 minutes to get that car going and warmed up, and wasn't a great finish, but 29th, you know, tough series to break into. Zuzov in the last race, we saw him right at the back after some early contact. He was in 26th, and Julian Familiaris, who we haven't really seen in this championship before, well, he came home in 25th, so good result for him. I'm just looking down the results to see, you know, who's really out of position, and we were saying, you know, Peter Van Gool again could well be on the cards here, Adam, for another near the start of the grid in race 3, where we have that reverse grid top 20, because he's in 16th on the grid for this race.
Yeah, Peter Van Gool seems to be the best advert of any for the beneficiary of the top 20 reverse grid. So let's see if he can hold on to that place during the second race and be right up there again for the third one. And fingers crossed, touch wood, whatever, he might be able to make something of it this time round.
Well, Laura Bond, STP Bianco driver, with the pink mirrors, disqualified from the first race, unfortunately, won't score any points for herself or her team, was running around about the 20th place mark before being disqualified. A real shame. We saw her driver profile just in the run-up to race 1. Let's hope she can do a little bit better in the second race. Still the only female driver in this series, and there are a number breaking through in top flight motorsport now, and well, it's really good to see. But still, I mean, we're a long way away from having, for example, a female Formula 1 champion, Adam.
Yeah, it's good to see. We got Susie Wolf in Formula 1, we got Danica Patrick in NASCAR, and I think in sports cars we got Claudia Hertgen, so good to see female racing having a strong presence.
There's a lot of other examples, like, for example, Sabine Schmidt, the Nürburgring taxi driver, which is much more exciting than it sounds, by the way. But you've got to say, Patrick is somewhat of a well, I wouldn't say laughing stock, but she's been the subject of a number of jokes. But we'll have to see what happens with Susie Wolf, as we'll have to see what happens with Laura Bond in this particular race. Her highest position is second, which she's now achieved twice in this championship, in this series, and she is just that tiny margin away from her first victory, isn't she?
Yeah, she's also been having strong championships. Last season she managed to get 15th place overall in the standings, which is pretty good considering the depth of field here. So maybe with a few more strong finishes like she did at the Circuit of the Americas, she'll be higher up the standings.
Well, let's have a look at the grid, the top 10 at least, because Lopez, like you say, will be starting on pole, but why don't you go down the rest of the field for us there, Adam?
Lopez on pole. Second place is his eBay Motors teammate Richard Wild. Third place, another of the wreckers of race 1, Stelian Chepelewski in the Iwasa car. And then in fourth place, Simon Field. Jamie Rushworth is in fifth place, and then David Baker is in sixth. Adam Terry and Wojciech Savidovic in the STP Bianco cars are 7th and 8th. And then rounding out the top 10 reverse grid is Andreas Katz and the winner of race 1, Stefan Hug.
So Katz with some blood on his hands after that first race, Chepelewski with a little bit as well, and Simon Field. So that's 3 guys in the top 10 who'll be thinking, I really need to stay out of trouble this time round, otherwise I really won't be very popular. Do you think popularity comes into this much, or is it more down to let's just finish in a high position and forget about it if we have a little crash with somebody?
I think some drivers interpret it either way. Some drivers we see, maybe like Ashley Sutton, goes all out, all guns blazing, and we saw what happened to him in the last few races, having a few crashes. But some people like Wojciech Savidovic, they've been playing it consistent and have been reaping the rewards.
Well, Steve Richardson, just seeing him come through the picture now, is one driver who'll be keen to improve on the results of last race. More blood on the hands of the eBay Motors driver there, because he did take out Nils Jordan in that first race, completely unintentionally, but it wasn't good to see. Let's hope he can have a better race, and let's hope good old Nils Jordan can get back up the field as well, because he's a great driver, Nils, and we don't see him at the front too often, but he's there every single time and always gives it his all. So let's go down to the grid right now for race 2, and as we mentioned, Lopez on that pole position. We know what he can do from there, Adam. He's deadly from pole position, and with a teammate behind him, he's going to be very difficult to get past, isn't he?
Yeah, we've seen what happens throughout this season, and what happens if you give Adeko Lopez the lead. And let's see if his teammate Richard Wild can hold on to the back of him, and see if Stelian Chepelewski starting third will be able to hold on to him as well. Jamie Rushworth in fifth. Let's see if he can close in on Lopez as well, because after all, those are his main title rivals.
Well, can Chepelewski get down the inside of Richard Wild into that first corner? We're about to find out. Round 17 is go. Here we go, Lopez away from the line. Chepelewski needs to get inside Richard Wilde. Richard Wilde gets away very slowly here. Richard Wilde's going to be in all sorts of trouble unless he can get that car going a little bit quicker than he currently is. Chepelewski, has he done enough, Adam?
I think he might have, but Wilde might be trying to hang around the outside. Safety car is out.
Ah, safety car out already. There's a bit of a pile-up going on. Didn't look too bad, to be honest. It's one of the movie goes is off. One of the chrome restarts is gone as well. Did we miss something on the start-finish straight?
Yes, we did. There were a few cars flying through the air. However, I was hoping that we'd been able to carry on looking at the front, but safety cars are now out.
Well, let's go back to the start then and see if we can find out what happened at the start of the race. Maybe we can get a better picture from this point of view, because the safety car will only come out if there's a significant accident. There we go, there it is. Okay, so it's difficult to see exactly who was involved there.
Zanimir Zuzov was involved, I think.
Well, poor old Stanimir is not having a good evening of racing. Let's put it that way. He is already out of the race. Let's go back and try and look at that again from a different angle, if we possibly can. So here's the start. Zuzov in the centre of your picture there. Now that's one of the AMDs going down the middle and makes contact. Well, that's very rude. That's
Aaron
the
Gearing.
12 car. Aaron Gearing made contact with Stanimir Zuzov, and then, well, when you get every car obviously accelerating from that point, it's never going to be very pretty. Let's see if we can have a look at that from Aaron Gearing's point of view. There's a lot of cars off there. I'll go back a little bit further here. We've got plenty of time because we've got the safety car, so we're not going to be seeing exciting action on the track. This is the start from Aaron Gearing's point of view. Gets a good start, goes to move around, and then I don't know why he's moved to the left there. Well, I can see him move to the left, and I don't know why he's done it. That's the question. So, on the slow motion there, wheel to the left. Maybe he thought he had more room than he did, but he's made contact with the back quarter of Zuzov's car, and that's pulled out the safety car. Well, what do you make of that, Adam?
Oh, I don't know. It looked like he was trying to squeeze between Zuzov and Julian Flamirez, but then the gap closed down. It's very, very unfortunate. And now we're under safety car conditions, but I would have to apportion blame to Aaron Gearing.
Well, that's definitely a shame. See if we can get a quick word with him while we're under the safety car at least. He might not have much to say, but we will give it a try anyway. Aaron, are you with us?
Hi mate, you alright?
Not the best start there. What happened at the start?
Just one of the USA cars just, I think, came across the front of me. I wasn't quite too sure. He just seemed to slow up a little bit.
So you were off to a good start, and it was Familiaris ahead of you, I believe, in the Pertec, and you moved to the left to kind of get round him, I assume.
Yeah, and it just kind of, the gap disappeared. I tried getting off the throttle, but just gap disappeared, mate.
And too much damage on that car to get it back out on the track, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that contact with the wall kind of has wrote the race off.
Well, that is a shame at the start of a race like that, but hopefully we'll see you back in action for race 3.
Yeah, no worries, bud. Cheers for that.
Thanks, Aaron. That's Aaron Gearing there. Obviously, he feels like he didn't move to the left. He feels like the Yuasa car moved to the right. I'm not sure.
Should we just call it a racing incident?
Well, I'm sure that Zuzov won't be calling it that. Let's put it that way, at least. Viewers, your opinion welcome in the YouTube comments if you'd like to leave your thoughts on that. We try and stay as impartial as possible, but this is a very long lap, so we're going to have a lot of safety car action here in this race, unfortunately.
Yeah, when the safety car comes out, the field is frozen, so Chepelewski had got second place when the yellow flag was waved, so he's managed to get ahead of Richard Wilde, so he'll be able to fight with Hideo Koba Lopez.
And we talked about that down into turn 1, didn't we? And Wilde just didn't get the start that he needed to get to keep Chepelewski at bay. Being on the outside there gives you a disadvantage, and, well, the last thing you want to do if you get a slow start is move the car over and block off everybody else. He did the right thing, he stayed on his line, and it ended up costing him a position. But the rest of the field here, Simon Field's in 4th, as we know, Rushworth just behind, Savidovic. These guys are going to be itching to get past Wild, and can he hold on to that 3rd place, realistically?
Yeah, who knows? Richard Wild, I think he had a win at Indianapolis earlier in the season, so he's a proven quantity at eBay Motors. Adeko Lopez has lost his main buddy in a sense, because now Chepelewski is right behind him. Safety car is, I presume, staying out for another lap, is it? But we'll soon find out.
A good chance to give you some cockpit interiors of these Kia Optimas. This is courtesy of Laura Bond right here in 23rd. So her grid position, she's not demoted to the back, so the way this works is if you get disqualified, whatever position you're classified in, even though you're disqualified, is your starting position in the next race, unless that happens to be the last race of the evening, in which case next week. You get what I'm saying, it's complicated. As always with iRacing, never quite as straightforward as you want it to be, but the organisers have got it down to a T by now. So, safety car is, well, I don't know why Lopez is feigning pit entry there, but the safety car is out, so we've got another lap behind the safety car. That's going to be about another 3 or so minutes probably. And go ahead.
I've got Stefan Hug languishing down the order on my timing screens. I don't know whether he had a bad start.
Well, he has taken a pit stop, so he is now catching up with the field. Obviously, there's no requirement to pit in this series, and there's no real reason to. I mean, you wouldn't pit to get fresh tyres after half a lap, and then try and get an advantage out of it. So he must have got into some kind of incident at the start, maybe. That's the only reason I can think of.
Yeah, I'm going to have a look.
Well, he is the last car currently still running, so we've lost Eckhart von Glan, Aaron Gearing, Julian Familiaris and Stanimir Zuzov. Another terrible race for Zuzov.
Yes, Stefan Hug had a bit of contact with Adam Terry at the start. Yes, and they both went off into turn 1, that's the reason.
Well, Adam Terry's still running at the moment. He's in 9th place. So all of these cars, they're doing pretty well under the safety car. It's a very frustrating time because you're not used to being limited by anything except your own speed. And this 55 miles an hour, I think it is, under the safety car must seem very slow. But it should be in this lap. The lights are off, and there's only going to be 5 laps of green flag racing left. Puts a bit more pressure on the guys that are just a little bit further down the order, doesn't it? Because they've got less time to overtake.
Yeah, that, and also we're going to see Adeko Lopez. How will he set this restart? Will he go early, or will he leave it to the last possible moment? And he better be careful, because if he leaves it too late, Chepelewski will be eager to snatch that lead.
Well, Robert Graham, just coming into the back of your picture now, he has also made a pit stop. So obviously he feels like he had some damage to get rid of, or maybe he was so far back that he's not too bothered anyway about that. You're right though, Lopez leads right now. He is a crafty one as well. Chepelewski needs to stay with him if he's got any chance of winning this race. Chepelewski might feel like he doesn't need to win the race. He just wants to finish second. It's going to put both of them a long way down the order in race 3, so the dice will be thrown once again as far as moving up the field from 20th position goes. Lopez, I think he would happily win every race if he could and puts everything into it. I don't know about you.
I think he has the capability to win every race, but thankfully due to reverse grids and stuff like that, he's been prevented, and who knows, let's see if Chepelewski can latch onto the back of him as the safety car's getting ready to come in.
Just look at how far back Lopez is from that safety car as well. He's a very long way back, getting some heat into those tyres now, but that suggests to me like he's going to go very early. And the pit entry I should say, is a long way back from the start-finish line of this circuit, so the safety car will be off. He will be able to go past quite early. Now when does he go? That's the question. Let's keep our eye out. he could go as early as... Well, he could go before the last corner. I mean, he's really slowed it down a lot, hasn't he? The safety car's not even in view.
Yeah, the safety car's just going around the final corner now.
So, and Jacobo Lopez backs the field up. This is it. He's going
He's
now.
gone.
Before the final corner, Chepelevsky looks like he's been caught napping, and I think that's the draft gone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a shame. I thought Chepelevsky would have been better prepared as we head down the front straight for the first time. Green flag in the air. We're back to racing here at Red America.
Round 17 gets back underway. Chepelevsky's so far back. This field is really spread out as well. I don't think anyone knew when to go, and if Lopez's intention was to confuse everyone, I think he's very much succeeded.
Yeah, Rushworth is up into 4th place. He's just gone down the inside of Simon Field into turn 1, so he's moving on up.
Richard Wiles still holds on to that 3rd position, but for how long? Everybody else spread out quite a lot, and I guess it's better than having contact under the safety car, which is the last thing anybody would want. But that's going to mean that Lopez, who currently leads this race by a full second, has a massive upper hand here. Oh, and Richard Wild, already under attack from Rushworth here, holds on to 3rd. No, he doesn't. He runs wide, very wide. Wild's off already, and Rushworth moves up into 3rd place. Wild's lost 3 positions there, Adam.
Yeah, down to 6th. He seems to have lost that front row position on the grid, so that's been wasted. However, let's see if the car's behind Andreas Katz, can he pass him as well as we head down to the carousel?
Oh, Field's off. Simon Field is taken to the grass. I guess he just had to stop too quickly to... Let's go back and have a little look at that one from his point of view. He's right behind Jamie Rushworth here. Yeah, just had to get out of the way of the back of Rushworth's car to avoid another collision. And that was the same corner as the last race where he made contact with Reggie Blaine, Adam, and that's going to cost him.
Yeah, he got caught out by Rushworth in front of him there and then just skated off into the gravel. It's a bit of a shame for him there.
Just as Simon Field was telling us at the end of the last race as well how good his car is under the corners with that high wing setup. Either he's lowered the wing and is struggling on the brakes, or just got completely caught unawares by Rushworth's braking there. I don't think Rushworth was deliberately braking early by any means, but oh, here comes Peter Van Gool past Scott Malcolm at Canada Corner. Rob Burton's just behind these guys as well. Let's see what Burton can do from here, because he's on for a top 20 finish as well, which will put him right near the front. Now the highest placed DMR car at the moment is in fact Robert Plumley, who's in 15th, so 15th, 19th and 22nd at the moment for the 3 DMR cars. Plumley has Scott Malcolm to deal with just up in front. A lot of draft on offer here though, and we're already more than halfway through the race due to that safety car period. Burton gets on the brakes into turn 1. Oh, a little bit of contact up in front, I think. Oh, just saw that out the corner of the camera there. Side by side then, Brewster up to 14th and Janowski just behind.
Yeah, there was an AMD car off in the first corner. It was Chris Siddle.
Oh, Chris Siddle dropping down the order a little bit then, down to 32nd as he gets the car back on and gets passed by Hoog. I don't know why Hoog's so far down the field. Maybe we should have asked him during the safety car period, I suppose. That would have been a good idea.
He had a crash with Adam Terry in the first corner.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you mentioned that. Completely got out of my mind as well. That Laura Bond up to 22nd now, jumping Ellis Stevens down to 23rd. Stevens, 2-time champion in the series as well, really struggling at Road America. Meanwhile, at the front, Lopez's lead is only extending, really. It's now 1.2 seconds to Chepelevsky, and then 1.6 seconds back from him to Rushworth. So, the chances of seeing any more overtakes in the top 3 have to be pretty slim at this stage.
Yeah, we'll have to see if any of the drivers make a mistake. Lopez has got a 1.5 second lead. The last time round, he was nearly half a second quicker than Chepelevsky, so that shows the pace that Lopez got. He's pulled the pin and now he's leaving them all for dead.
Lopez into the final corner. to round out lap 5. He's a very, very smooth driver. He's very quick in the Spec Racer Ford as well. That's another one of his favourite vehicles, and he makes sure that every result counts. Holds a lot of world records on iRacing in that particular vehicle. He's showing just what he can do. Oh, Steve Richardson, I think, is out of the race. Where's Steve Richardson gone? Let's have a look, see if we can find him on the replay here. Is he? Well, he's there. Well, let's see what's happened to him. We're just saying he needs a really good result this time around. Well, I think that might be a disconnect for Steve Richardson, maybe. I don't know, he's just pulled it off the track. Difficult to say. Lopez extends his lead further, so the race leader is now 1.3 seconds ahead. An extra tenth. Last time round they were closer on lap times though, Adam.
Yeah, I don't know whether Lopez, being the clever racer that he is, already knows that it's done and is backing off a bit, but Chepelewski is keeping him honest.
Well, Rob Burton now under threat from Stefan Hug, just 2 places behind here. Let's see what Hug can do, because he's a lot quicker than the guys around him, and he should be moving through the field pretty quickly. So, did he need to repair the car? That's the question.
Yeah, he had a bit of a clatter into the inside wall in turn 1, so I think he did have to go to the pit.
Burton and Hefford side by side up in front. Hefford leaves the track. Hug's got to pick his way through this very carefully. Burton's early on the brakes to let Hefford through. Oh, a little touch on the back of Burton's car there. Hug's got to be careful here. He's got damage already, and he's a long way down here. Well, no threat from behind for Hug, who currently runs in 30th place for Chrome Restart, because the next car is Chris Siddle 25 seconds behind. But he needs to wait for those straights and really get a good exit in order to get around these guys. Top CQR car at the moment is Andrew Whitehead in 26th. Not going to be a memorable evening in terms of CQR finishes, is it?
No, but they're missing most of their main drivers, such as Ashley Sutton and Russell Laidler, so Andrew Whitehead flying the flag for CQR this race meeting.
Well, Rushworth is not really closing on Chepelewski up at the front, because that's still a second and a half. Rushworth was the fastest in qualifying, but go ahead.
However, Chepelewski was 0.2 of a second quicker than Lopez that time round. He's got the gap down to just over 1 second. I don't know whether he's going to mount anything out of this challenge, but the gap is coming down.
Well, 2 laps left. He'd have to do half a second a lap on Lopez both times round, and find a way round Lopez, which seems incredibly unlikely, unfortunately. So the safety car might have taken all of the action out of this race, unfortunately, except for that short, unfortunate stint at the start involving the gearing Zuzov Familiaris debacle, shall we call it. Julian Janowski running 14th right now. Jeroen Kaiser's just behind. Should be able to mount a challenge, the Chrome Restart driver. Well, he's forced around the outside. Janowski goes defensive. Oh, Kaiser's on the grass. That won't help under braking. Gets it stopped. I don't know how he managed to keep the car under control there, but did well. Plumley's sniffing around for another position as well, currently running 16th. Don't forget, Plumley's got his own YouTube channel where he streams a lot of these races and a whole load of other iRacing stuff as well. So that's under World of Kinduchi, if you want to search that one out, or we quite often put his footage on our website at bsrtv.net. So up at the front, we'll get the positions up on your screen now. It's too far back, I think. Chepelewski is taking that lead away, and maybe if we had another 10 laps I think he might get there, but I think that's game over, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the closest battle we've got at the front at the moment is between Andreas Katz and Wojciech Savidovic ahead. Those two seem to be pretty close, and let's see if Katz can get a slipstream as we come out the final corner to start the final lap.
Just look at the line there. Katz a lot faster in. Traditionally it's going to hurt you on the way out. Just looking back from Savidovic's car at Andreas Katz, and it has. No benefit from the draft. I think Katz is probably a little bit too hot. Maybe it's just a different style, but the slower you are into a corner, and Prost once said, didn't he, the slower it looks like I'm going, the faster I really am going. Well, Lopez is now 0.7 up. I think he's just cruising though, isn't he?
Oh, so Chepelevsky's getting pretty close to him. He might get a benefit of the slipstream down this back straight as we're on the final lap. Meanwhile, Katz and Savidovic, they seem to be having their battle once again.
Well, let's have a look at that gap and see if that does actually come down at all. I do have a button for that somewhere, honest. There it is. Right, so 0.6. 0.6. Now that's striking distance for Chepelevsky, isn't it?
Yeah, let's see if he can get a run through the carousel and through the kink, and he might be able to mount a challenge into the final two corners, but I think it's a pretty slim chance.
0.4 quicker, Chepelevsky, on that last lap. And the closer he gets to the back of that eBay Motors car, obviously the stronger the draft's going to be. It's going to come down to the wire here, I think. Chepelevsky is very close. Any small mistake, and we're talking less than 1/10 of a second here, any small mistake from either driver would hand the other one the victory at this stage. We've got another long straight after the carousel here. Chepelevsky, let's see how much he can close up. And then we just got that start-finish straight left. And if he can make it count here, just look at that gap coming down on your screen there, 0.4. Needs a good exit from Canada, really. Takes a lot of curb there. It's coming down, it's 0.35. It all comes down to this. Can Chepelevsky get the jump on Lopez via the draft? Lopez faster by a fraction of a second through the last few corners. We're into the final corner now. Chepelevsky, look how close he is. Great exit from Chepelevsky. Can he do it in the draft? Lopez is going to start weaving. Lopez needs to keep Chepelevsky behind him. I think he's got it. I think Lopez has done enough. Only just. Lopez wins race 2, Adam, and that was really close.
Yeah, we were dismissing Chepelevsky a lap ago, and he managed to get the gap down to 0.2 of a second. Maybe if he had another lap, he might have got him, but brilliant racing between those two.
Well, Richard Wilde just coming over the line there in the background. Simon Field, Adam Terry. Let's get some results up on your screen. Top 10 results are as follows. Lopez, Chepelevsky by the narrowest of margins. Rushworth and then Savidovic. So good score for Rushworth, but again Lopez is going to widen that gap once again. Katz just goes from strength to strength this season, really doing well there. Baker again seems to be, he likes finishing in 6. He's got a lot of 6th place finishes this season, but it's working out for him. He's doing extremely well in the championship.
Just looking at your reverse grid positions, I've got Ellis Stevens starting on pole position for this final race, and alongside him on the grid, Laura Bond. And
look at that as well. 4th position, Peter Van Gool. How many times has he been in the top 5 in that reverse grid top 20? A lot. Sorry, I just answered that one for you, but it is a lot, isn't it?
But will he be able to make something out of it in this final race? That's the question.
Well, let's hope that he can. That would make things really thrilling. And well, quite often what happens is one of the top drivers gets pushed down the grid and ends up starting around the front in race 3 by virtue of this reverse grid system. That's not happened at all, so it's pretty much going to be slowest to fastest from 1 to 20 on the grid, and that's going to be exciting to watch. I think more so than this race. We had a bit of a slow race after the last one, but I don't think we can I don't think we can blame anyone for that. Well, let's see then if we might be able to go over and have a word with Wojtek Savidovic for STB Bianco. Another good finish for Savidovic in that last race, and got to be fairly confident with your pace at the moment, Wojtek.
It's actually not too bad. I adjusted the setup for second race because my wing wasn't. I had too much wing on the first one, so I lost 2 positions there. Yeah, but it was. I felt quite good in the second race.
And one of the things that is with you and missing from a lot of the top drivers in this series seems to be the consistency. You seem to finish more or less in the top 5 in just about every race, and that's really putting you in a good position for the championship. But How are you feeling about the championship right now as we reach the midpoint of the season?
Uh, it's really hard to say. I like the pace to challenge for the win in the first race, and with the reverse grid, I do have some chances. But yeah, there is also much luck needed in the second race and in the third one.
So you'll be starting near the 15th position for this final race of the evening, and it's going to be a case of picking through the traffic quite carefully. But any particular strategy you're going to be taking?
Exactly as you said, I'm just going to be careful, and if there's going to be opportunity, I'll take it. But yeah, I won't be forcing anything.
And we saw a little bit of contact between you and Stelian Chepelewski in race number 1. I bet you were hoping I wouldn't bring this one up, but what happened there? Talk us through that one.
Oh yeah, Chappie, there was really not much room, and he really wanted to defend this position, and what he said, he just locked the front brakes and failed to turn in. So that's why the contact was there.
Okay, well, it's good to have an explanation for that one, especially for the viewers who are wondering, and they were certainly in for a treat in race 1, but let's hope they're in for another treat in race 3. So thanks for joining us, and good luck for race 3.
Thank you very much, and see you there.
And that's Wojtek Savidovic for STP Bianco, and it's just about time for us to get off and prepare for race 3, Adam. But predictions, can Peter van Gool hold on to any positions this time? Can Ellis Stevens win this one like he used to?
Could Laura Bond have a chance and get her first victory in the BSRTC?
And where will Lopez finish? That's the question. 20th place on the grid. I don't think anyone's come through and won it from that particular position, but there's always a first for everything. Let's see what happens in race 3. And just before we go, Gordon Wilson there saying he missed the race due to work, and it would have been his first BSRTC race, so big shame for Gordon Wilson. Let's hope to see you out on the track very soon. But that's round 17. Round 18 coming your way on BSR TV in just a moment. So skip over to the next video. From me and Adam, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in a moment.